Morning. Hey, this is your host, Jeff Ski Kinsey at Fast Charge Energy. That's also the website, fastchargeenergy.com. Quick shout out to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lost a tough one last night in the first game of the World Series of the year 2023. Had high hopes and went into overtime, but be of good cheer. I'm very much encouraged by this team. So, looking for great things this year from the Diamondbacks in the World Series. You know, there's a couple business lessons in this. The first of which is they've done a lot of things right to get where they're at, the Diamondbacks, to be in a position to be in their second only World Series since, their founding 25 years ago, more or less. I remember watching every single game of the first World Series they were in when they won it back in 2001. That was amazing. Game 7, I recently rewatched. I mean, Schilling and just amazing, talented group of individuals. But the business lesson is, and let's take a lesson from pilots in the military. Okay, they have these briefings, and again, we always talk about, again, as a Marine Corps veteran, we talk about commander's intent. You know, the great example is, hey, take that hill. And sometimes that's all they need to say, okay? Because you know what that means. You know how to get it done, okay? But in an air mission, you know, there's a briefing. Here's what we're going to do. You know, then when you get back, you know, how did you do? Was it successful? Did it go according to plan? Where did it deviate? And I'm sure that's one of the things that the Diamondbacks is doing. They're looking at that game last night, or they will when they wake up, and they're saying, okay, what did we do right? What could we do better next time? I love that. When I was in Toastmasters on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, a number of years ago, we kind of had a theme there for evaluating speeches and speakers. We'd say, hey, here's what we loved about the speech. Here's what you might consider doing differently. Okay, it was feedback, and sometimes it wasn't always good news, you know. But no matter how good the speech was, there was always something you could say, hey, why don't you try this maybe a little differently next time? Okay, positive reinforcement, yet getting the message across that it wasn't maybe firing on all cylinders, if that makes some sense. So, just a thought this morning as I sit here wondering on a Saturday, you know, what's next? What's going to happen? I mean, the day is just beginning to unfold. Speaking of that, you've heard me talk about this thing called the LeanCanvas. It's also the website, LeanCanvas.com. It'll take you right inside this company, Lean Stack, and show you this amazing tool, this single page with 9 blocks on it to help you analyze your business. I like to say, I don't get out of bed in the morning without a lean canvas to guide my efforts. And so what's it tell me this morning? One of the boxes is KPIs. So we want to measure the key performance indicators. And one of the 3 KPIs that I have is the number of estimates that I generate. Okay, now that's kind of the tail end of the process, because you've got to have product, you got to figure out the marketing, you know, what do your ducks like? You know, where are the ducks hanging out? What lakes are they hanging out? What's the messaging look like? There's a whole lot of steps in front of it, but one of the key metrics is, are we actually quoting projects? Are we getting ourselves in front of potential consumers? That was not a good word choice, not consumers, because we're a B2B, you know, business owners, decision makers. That's the party we're trying to get in front of, to say, hey, if you're thinking about AC or DC fast charging, you ought to be thinking about fastchargeenergy.com. Okay? Hey, if I can help, reach out. It's that simple. Go to the website, fastchargeenergy.com. Check it out. The podcast is on there, press releases, and a whole bunch more.